Welcome to Let's Take More Neck. This is DeVanté.
And I'm Eric.
Let's take more neck. Y'all hear what I say? Let's take more neck for your mother and your brother. We gon' hear from Eric and DeVanté. It's strange times and these are strange days, and it's strange people living strange ways. So we expect let's take more neck.
The Denver Nuggets are your 2023 NBA champions, and Eric doesn't give a single fuck about it. But I do. And I went down to that fucking parade.
Yeah, how was that?
And it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I mean, how many times in your life is your team that's in your city going to win a championship and you get to experience all the fans that come together? There was fucking almost 1 million people there.
These athletes don't get paid that kind of money because people don't care. I mean, if everyone was like me, they wouldn't get paid $1 because no one would watch.
There's been other fucking championship parades. I've not seen almost 1 million people.
I believe that, especially with how many people live in Colorado now, and just
it was fucking crazy.
Oh, I saw the pictures. I know it was crazy.
You seen me in those? You see me in there. You see me in there in the back. No, it was fucking dope. Definitely the most fucked up I've ever been on a Thursday. That's for damn sure.
So, okay, I'm curious. What got you into sports, like viewing sports? I get playing sports because I play sports. But what intrigues you about watching sports? I mean, I get it's a very popular thing, something, even though I don't partake it, and I know other people don't as well, but it's a very popular viewing content. People like to watch football, basketball. What intrigues you so much about it? I'm kind of curious.
And so when I was younger, whenever my dad was staying with us, he would have on football or basketball. I remember watching it from like 4 years old. So as long as I can remember, I've been watching football or basketball. On occasions, there would be baseball on. I'd watch baseball. I've always done, and I've been playing basketball since I was like 4. So I guess really intrigued me. It's just something I knew.
Okay. But so your dad likes sports, so you watch sports with him.
Well, it would just be on the TV if I was like in the living room with my mom or whatever. It would be on, and my mom likes sports too. Like my mom played basketball when she was younger.
Nice, that's fair. So who did you root for growing up? Because you guys don't really have a team close to you.
Well, I mean, growing up there was the St. Louis Rams.
How far away was
St. Louis? Is an hour and a half from where I grew up.
Okay.
So it's like from here to Denver, essentially. It wasn't too far. The next closest basketball team is the Memphis Grizzlies, 3 hours away. Baseball, again, we had the Cardinals. Grizzlies were the closest NBA team, but there's almost zero Memphis Grizzly fans. Everybody's like a Lakers fan. We got some Bulls fans. We got some Warriors fans. You know, basketball, everybody was kind of all over the place. I didn't have a team growing up except for like Ohio State. That was the only team that I rooted for.
More their football program, right?
All of their sports. It doesn't fucking matter. Okay. Football, basketball, lacrosse, water polo. Don't care.
No, water polo.
Like
why Ohio State?
So when I was younger, you know, whenever you're watching sports, you kind of just jump on a bandwagon. Like most people jumped on fucking the New England Patriots dick when I was younger because, I mean, they were fucking probably the best team of our generation, and I fucking hated the Patriots. So Miami was the best team whenever I was 5. And I was jumping on the bandwagon. I was like, all right, this is going to be my team, whatever. And then they're in the national championship against Ohio State, and Ohio State beat them. And I was like, who the fuck is this team? I was like, that's it. You just beat the best team that's supposed to be around. You're my new team. And I've just been with them ever since.
Okay, that's fair.
Became a Nuggets fan when I moved to Colorado. And that was before the Nuggets were actually any good.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved here whenever was Joker. It might have been his rookie years whenever I moved here. Either his rookie year or his second year in the league is whenever I moved to Colorado. You don't know who Joker is, do you?
The Serbian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I catch it, you know. I don't live completely under a rock. No, I think, you know, sports always intrigued me because, you know, I played them growing up like you, but, you know, I lost interest by high school, really. Because, I mean, I'd play team sports, and then I realized I'm like, okay, well, I'm an okay athlete, but, you know, my mom's pretty short, my dad's pretty tall and athletic, but I was like, all right, I know I'm not going to take this anywhere. So I'm, like, competing, and then also it had to do a lot with your teammates. So if your teammates were dropping the ball, which, you know, I definitely played with some questionable players, as we all have, growing up, especially elementary school, middle school. And I was like, well, this sucks. Like, this guy sucked. Like, he missed that shot and we lost the game and it had nothing to do with me. And I really fell out of sports by probably the end of middle school. I was like, it was more frustrating. I was just like, I remember I was on a Y team and I played for the middle school that I went to. And the middle school team that I played for was pretty good. We were a pretty good team. And then the Y team, it was like a bunch of hacks, but it was fun. It was like buddies. And I'll never forget one game where, we were just getting absolutely rocked because some of my friends were just not athletes at all. And I was like getting so frustrated with them because I wanted them to compete like the middle school team, even though obviously they weren't on that level. And, we lost that game by like 50 points. And I remember at the very end, we were playing a really good team, like the best team in the Y League middle school male team or whatever. And this guy was like bringing the ball up court. And of course we weren't going to win. I was still playing hard defense. I was like, he was like, oh, like, what are you doing, man? Let me just take like this crazy three. And I like knocked the ball out of his hand. He's like, oh, whatever. Like, we beat you by 50 points. And, it just like killed me. I was just like, oh, fuck this. And that's actually when I got into individual sports. So like, that's when I started shooting competitive archery. And then I did fishing tournaments too.
That's how you went to a really privileged school. What? Competitive archery.
It wasn't through the school. It was through like the Junior Olympics at like the archery range or something. Okay. Yeah. I think they actually had archery, but not. Yeah, it wasn't like a team sport. It wasn't like a sport though.
You guys probably had water polo too.
Fuck, I don't know. Did Cherry Creek have water polo?
Probably
it probably does. Honestly, yeah.
Fucking how
it's
many,
like a college campus, man.
Yeah,
4,000 students on the campus.
That's fucking stupid as shit.
But that's where I grew up. I thought was stupid as shit. I'm like, oh man, like, I've talked about this already. Like, oh, look at my neighbors. They have Ferraris and nice cars. And I was like, cousins. I mean, just people in my life that had money or friends that I knew. And I was like, none of that impressed me. I was like, I didn't care about it. I knew their struggles. I knew what they went through. And I was like, I just want to get the fuck out of there.
So whenever you were playing the team sports, did you find yourself getting really upset with your teammates most of the time?
Yeah, when I was one of the better players, but if I was one of the worst players, I would have been like, damn, like, sorry, like, my dad married a 5 foot tall Asian woman, like, sucks to suck, everyone. I'm just not that tall, you know? So, depending on where you're at,
Yeah, I mean, my thing was if
you didn't get frustrated with people.
Basketball, I was an asshole.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I was a fucking asshole. But it was because I tried so hard. I competed so hard. Like, I wanted our team to actually be good. Even though we didn't have our basketball team wasn't good at all. Mm-hmm. I wanted us to be the best that we could fucking be. And I hated when people just fucking moseyed along on the fucking court. It's like, dude, just fucking play. Like, goddamn. Why the fuck did you try out for a team if you're not going to fucking play hard? Like, why do you want to play this? Is it a social event for you? If it's a social event for you, don't come fucking playing with me. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're not going to fucking compete the best of your ability, yeah, none of us are fucking... Our team, anyway, none of us were going to go play Division I basketball. But, I mean, if you weren't super talented, all I asked was that you fucking hustled. I just don't like when people don't try shit. When they don't fucking try, drives me fucking crazy. Like, I don't... Well, like, I knew
so does most of the U.S. population bother you today?
Most humans bother me. I love them, but they fucking bother me. It's like, why are you so... It's because they're afraid to go out and, like, do shit. It literally drives me crazy. Like
I see it all the time, man.
Dude, whenever I was younger, Lane, my best friend, he was kind of fat. Okay, well, he was fat, not kind of fat. He was fat, and I would always be walking somewhere, walking to a friend's house. I'm walking to the park. Summertime, I was rarely home, and so there was one friend that lived all the way across town. Which all the way across town, where I'm from, honestly, it was like maybe a 15 to 30-minute walk. All right, that's not very fucking long at all. And it was hot. It's very humid there. And I was like, hey, dude, we're going to go over to our friend's place. And he was like, is someone picking us up? I was like, no, motherfucker, we're going to walk. He was like, oh, man, it's so fucking hot outside. I was like, listen, I'm going to grab these 2 jugs of water. I'll carry them so you don't have to. But we're taking our asses over there. I'm not sitting here doing nothing. And we get outside and we make it a block. And he's like, no, dude, I'm not going. Like, I was like actually pissed. I was like, why are you being so lazy? And I ended up walking away and walking all the way there with these 2 jugs of water in my fucking pocket with my shorts falling down. I'm holding up my pants while I'm walking. And it was like things like that used to drive me crazy. My brother and I did not really get along until like I moved out, and we get along really well now. But growing up, he just wouldn't try shit at all. And we would getting so many fights because he would just refuse to try anything. I was like, why are you being so lazy? And those type of people, I think he's pretty good about it now, but those type of people irk me.
And, so what is, you want someone to try to the best of their ability, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we should all want that.
People are, but in different ways. Now, again, I think a lot of people, we have had men on here, play a lot of video games. I do believe they're very competitive playing video games. Mm-hmm. I think people that watch sports, very competitive watching sports, or playing sports. There's a lot of, there is competition in life. And it's funny that how I view it, of course, is so, it's not different. I think a lot of people view it. It's like, I want to compete. Not with my bank account, but like more or less the resources you can accumulate as a human. Like, okay, I understand how our economic system works. How can I accumulate most resources? Like, that's what's interesting to me. So this week you were probably very excited the Nuggets won, and then you went to the parade. Do you know what's happening with the Fed at all and the interest rate hikes or anything? You don't know what's going on. Do you have interest in it?
Yeah, I mean, I stay away from fucking news, dude, just because it's so negative.
No, it's just how our financial system works. Like,
it's usually in the news, and I avoid the news.
Well, okay, but are you okay, but you want to have a family one day, right? And you want to have the financial resources to take care of a family, correct? So you probably should or would want to have an interest in how our financial
probably
system
so.
works.
I think my thing is that I just don't understand most of it. I look at it and it's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sitting there trying to understand it. I'm just like, I'll take down a couple of things, but that's how it's going to have to be right now until I watch it again and then learn bits and pieces. It's like I'm fucking kindergarten level with that shit.
Does it interest you? Because this stuff isn't taught in school. I have my MBA, but I learned all this way before. This is something even in high school I became interested in, more than sports. Obviously, I ran track and cross country, but that was it. Finances interested me the most because I saw rich people around me, but I worked minimum wage jobs and I saw how hard it was to make money. And I was like, damn, like this is how most people live. Like, I don't want to live like this. Like, I want to have the freedom. Like, I don't need to be some rich motherfucker. I just don't want to be trapped where I'm, a boss tells me what to do because it sucked. I was like, man, working for people sucks. I recognize that in high school. And you don't make any money. Like, there's other ways to make money. So I started learning, okay, how does our financial system work? And what are all these rich people doing? Where, again, they're clearly retaining wealth and making more money with their money. So that's what interested me. I never was a sports fan, probably because my parents weren't either, though. Because I think that was like a learned thing. Like, we didn't watch sports. My dad was into watching us play sports and then playing sports with us. Like, if we played basketball or we swam or I did lacrosse. I never played football, but that was cool to him. But yeah, we never went to Nuggets games. We never went to Avs games. Obviously my parents could afford it, but that was just not interesting. We were skiing, we were hiking, we were camping, stuff like that. Which, again, typical Colorado stuff. It's interesting. So the Fed paused. They're saying, oh, inflation isn't that bad, which it has come down quite a bit. And so they're saying, they call it a hawkish pause, where they're going to pause interest rate hikes. It's about 5% right now. The Fed funds rate is what they call it. So you could look at it as the borrowing rate. So the cost to borrow money right now is pretty expensive, whether you're buying a house or a car, starting a business, have a line of credit cards. It's very expensive to borrow other people's money. I think there's people that are in finances that don't necessarily even follow it that closely. And again, it really isn't brain surgery. It's just like, it's expensive to borrow money. So if you have money, you can loan it out and make money. You can make money off interest rates, which we've never seen in our lifetime. Obviously, it's cheaper to rent than own a home now. Like, people that are jumping into the housing market are fools, in my opinion. Now, again, if you're going to buy a house where you can cash flow it, and it becomes an asset, a house is a liability. People think, oh, home ownership that's the way to be. It's like, no, not necessarily. Unless you are making money off of real estate, they are liabilities. The hot water heater goes out, you're liable. Anything happens, you're liable. Versus if you rent, which rents are, basically 2/3 of home ownership now with these interest rates and these prices, you're better off renting. And so everyone jumping in. Now, I get there's very intelligent investors, and again, there's people that are paying cash for homes. It's like, okay, I get there's intelligent people buying homes, but I think there's a lot of people just caught up in the hype of like, oh, I got to own a home. It's like Bitcoin, like, oh, I got to own Bitcoin. And then it went to $64,000, went right back down. And I know it's hovering around 20 something now, but
it's still low because it was whenever I got out of there, it was at like 30 something.
Mm-hmm. But so it's below what you got out at. Mm-hmm. And again, who knows? Again, why assets got ballooned to such an insane amount is because of all the liquidity, they call it, money they put into the system. So it's funny, even as we talk about this, like, this gets me excited. Like, I'm sure you were excited at the Nuggets game yesterday. I'm excited. I'm like, like hawkish pause, so they might hike
Sounds like
interest
a Sherman
rates.
fucking term.
It's kind of like they're negative. They're not optimistic about how things are going in the economy. Mm-hmm. When they need to stimulate the economy, they'll lower interest rates, and that's kind of spurs people to spend more money, and they print money.
Who's in control of changing interest rates and shit?
It's our Federal Reserve.
And they're just like, you know what? Today we're feeling like hiking the fucking interest rates.
More,
up.
it's a little more complicated than that, but yeah, more or less. Mm-hmm. It's they go hand in hand with our government. If you don't think our government is like telling these motherfuckers what to do because it's an election year next year, you're right. That's the kind of shit we don't know about. It's a fucking game.
Oh, you know what's always been crazy to me is that we spend the most valuable thing in life to make this thing that we have deemed the most valuable item in the world. So we spend our time, mm-hmm. which is the most valuable thing we could possibly have.
That's correct.
To make money.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a piece of paper that is just a made up value.
It only has value because you and I say it does.
Exactly. And we will kill over it. We will fight to the death for it. And while we're doing that, we're completely throwing our life away.
Oh, well, that's a little bleak, but I mean, that's kind of
what
capitalism is.
We're fucking 9 to 5, and that's a time where we could be really having a good life. But we're sitting here and we're spending it doing shit. For most Americans, I believe, we're spending it doing shit that we hate. I've worked in the grocery industry. Most of those people hate their fucking lives. They are some of the most. There's some really good people in there. 100%. There's some really good people, but you can tell they hate their fucking lives because they've worked at the grocery store for 20 plus years. Sometimes they're shit humans. I'm like, why are you so upset? Like, you chose to work here 20 something years ago where you probably could have left and done something different, but you stayed because you were afraid of what else was out there. You got too comfortable in this and what you know. And then now it's fucked up your life mentally, where you're kind of an asshole now.
So jobs do that to a lot of people.
Yeah, but it's because we stick to jobs that we fucking hate. Like, if you got a family, I get it. If you have a family and you have to provide, and maybe you're the only provider, I understand that.
Well, I think that's what makes life meaningful. Now you're talking about meaning in life versus a job.
They still fucking hate their job.
I mean, I think my parents are a good example of that, but they had a lot of meaning because of the family they raised, which is very admirable for them, honestly, very admirable. Now, and it's interesting, a lot of people are swinging the other way. I see it with my cousins, other people I know, where we care more about our lifestyle. I mean, even my job, personal training, people know it as a lifestyle job for a reason. You're not going to get rich doing it, but if you're good with money, it's a decent living that you can, do well with, especially as a single guy. But, I don't hate my job waking up every day. I actually enjoy it. I get to help people. I have the flexibility. I kind of can bounce around. It allows me to have multiple other jobs, so I have multiple streams of income. I don't feel like I'm burned out even doing this. Like, yeah, it was a long week, worked a lot, but I feel pretty fresh still. I'm not just like, oh my God, I need to just watch Netflix now and do nothing. I got gas in the tank because I don't dread going to work every day. Yeah, a lot of people can't say that. I'd say most people can't say that.
Oh, most people really do not enjoy their life at all.
But it's hilarious because they live lifestyles where they're slaves to their jobs because they have crazy car payments, they have crazy mortgages, they have crazy credit card debt, they have crazy, they got to have the nicest, clothes and jewelry and whatever, and they become a slave to their expenses.
Dude, so take your ass, fuck the name brand shit.
Telling people that.
I promise you, someone walks down and they have a fucking Gucci bag, and somebody walks by me and they have a fucking Dollar General bag. I don't give a fuck. I'm probably going to like the person who bought the fucking Dollar General bag more than I'm like the person who spent $1,000 on a fucking Gucci bag, to be honest with you.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, why are we spending that much money on a fucking... It's so crazy to me that we will spend $1,000 on something just because we think that we're going to have some type of status from it.
That's what dopamine is. That's what's nice. Car, when you buy a new car, when you buy a new bag, when you... That's what the buildup is. We're an entire society addicted to dopamine, and I think our neuroreceptors are absolutely trashed at this point. Everybody's between TikTok and consumerism, fucking porn. I mean, just everything we're stimulated with. Okay, so all the people at the Nuggets parade, that's a lot of stimulation. Like, meanwhile, me, like, interested in what the stock market's doing, kind of what's going on. It's the same stuff. We're, like, bombarding ourselves with a lot of stimulus. I mean, more than we've ever seen. Like, getting 1 million people together. We haven't evolved. Our brains haven't evolved for 100,000 years. It's a lot of stimulation. We're all... whatever you're doing. I mean, it's just the awareness. I'm not saying it's all good, it's all bad. It's just like we are the most stimulated species ever. Someone that says, like what you just said, why the fuck would someone spend $1,000 on a bag? They'd look at you and be like, why the fuck wouldn't I spend $1,000 on this bag? Or $100,000 on this new Mercedes?
Yeah. So I think you're probably pretty fucking ridiculous, to be honest with you.
They think you're ridiculous for not.
There's people out there that will fucking spend their whole month's worth of making on something that expensive just to go off and show it off. It's like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't give a fuck. I don't care which you could have on. I don't wear any name brand shit. I just don't.
You got holes in your shirts.
I have holes in my fucking shirt right now. Okay, the only name brand thing I have on me is my fucking Nike socks. Like, I don't wear name brand shit. Like, I don't care. Like, I shop at the cheapest fucking places. Shein, Zara is the, like, most expensive I go. It's like $45 for a pair of jeans, like $40 for a shirt. I don't shop there often. This is about as expensive. H&M. I'm shopping at H&M.
Now we're tying it all back into the differences between men and women, like always. And how we think is... Our brains are much more wired to, gather resources. So in order to gather resources, we limit our spending. I think if you take the average guy. Now, again, there's guys that love flashy things and to consume. Don't get me wrong, lots of them. But I think as a man, especially someone like you or me, it's like, you forego that. You're more interested in, I got to, like, save money. I got to, be able to provide for myself. And obviously for you, like, well, and me now, right. A child and a family. That's our inherent drive versus, I mean, they've done the studies. 80% of the consumer base are females. It makes sense. They're just wired that way. It's not bad. Just like we're not bad for the way we're wired, but we're very different. So it's just kind of funny we talk about this, but it is both sexes. But as a whole, I mean, it's kind of funny. So since I've been Ubering, one thing I've noticed, I pick up a lot of girls from the mall or shopping experiences, like expeditions, I guess. It's a big thing. I think actually a girl I drove yesterday was definitely like a Filipino bride or something, and I took her to probably her husband or boyfriend's house, but she had we stacked that Corolla full of bags of stuff. Jesus. Took her to a nice house in Loveland, and it's funny, the guy was like working out in the garage, and you just tell he's maybe ex-Marines or something, and it was just funny. I'm like, yep, I'm sure he's paying for all this right now. And he had a couple cars too, but he's probably just like, I don't want to drive you. It's just go Uber there, Uber back. She probably doesn't even have a driver's license, but I've had a couple of people like that. But again, a lot of females, not talking shit on them, just it's an interesting thing. I've only done it 3 weeks, and I've probably done 20, 30 trips. Just female shopping, lots of bags, coming into the car. And I'm like, and a lot of them will even say like, just doing some retail. I'm like, how's your day going? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, doing retail therapy. Very common thing they say to me. I'm like, interesting. I don't men really don't do that. We don't do retail therapy necessarily.
I wonder what the male equivalent is though.
I think we buy big ticket items. I think like my bicycle is like a big ticket item when it comes to consuming. But
well, I mean, if they do retail therapy, what would be the equivalent to that? Because maybe for us it's not spending money. Maybe it's going out drinking. Maybe
girls like to do that.
Maybe it's going out playing sports.
And it's not like guys don't like to shop, but
I love to shop, but not expensive shit.
You're not. Yeah, it's not like you're like retail therapy. You're not gonna say that to your like Uber driver with like 9 bags.
No, dude, it takes me forever to make a decision on buying something because I'll go through every type of process. Like I'll be in the store and I'll look at this fucking shirt. I'm like, oh man, it's a nice shirt. And I'll look at the price and it says $45. I'm like, God damn, do I really want to spend $45? And then I'll go look and see if there's other shirts that are cheaper that I like. And then I'll be like,
so you're cost conscious.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's why it takes me so long shopping. I've found what I want, but I have to break it down in my head. do I want to spend $40 on one shirt, or could I spend $40 at the grocery store and get food for 3 days? How many times am I going to wear this shirt? What happens if it's got a fucking big-ass hole, big-ass rip in it? What happens if I outgrow it? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a long process for me, and that's why I'll spend 2 hours in a fucking store, and then I won't get anything. I will not get a fucking thing. It's too long of a process.
I think like most of the consumer debt, if you look at credit card debt, is held by women too, which makes sense, I guess. I think that is how we're wired. I think a lot of men shop like that. I do that. Again, the rare times I go shopping for clothes, and I'm kind of in and out. It's very utilitarian based. It's like, okay, what do I actually need? For what? Mm-hmm. What's the purpose? Am I going to use this? Not just to buy it. Mm-hmm. For me, I was like, shit, most of my stuff's a write-off. So if I can't write it off, I ain't doing it.
Dude, I don't remember the last time I've bought something just to buy it. I don't think I've
just
consciously ever
just
done
to
that.
Get like a dopamine hit, basically, of, I got to buy this to have it, like a trinket.
No. Just so it's like just there, just because I have it? No. Well, I mean, the last thing that I've spent money on that was expensive was the newest Xbox. And it was the cheapest one I could get, and I got it. And I can tell you that thing is broke down now and doesn't work. I haven't fixed it. I haven't played it, and I don't know if I'm going to get it fixed anytime soon.
Well, I mean, that's funny. I mean, again, everything we're talking about makes sense, and of course, because there's more individualistic as a society. Even though women are out earning men, a lot of times men have more money than women, as we've talked about before. A lot of my friends that work, jobs that don't make a ton of money, if they've been single into their 30s now, they've accumulated a lot of wealth. They have a lot of money just because they don't spend it. They know, especially my very intelligent friends that are good at investing, like, fuck, they grew up like me. They're doing very well. Versus a lot of girls I know that are engineers, attorneys, my sister, her friends, doctors, like, they live a lot more, not necessarily paycheck to paycheck, but they're consuming a lot more, traveling a lot more, buying more. I don't think investing interests women as much. There's a lot of women that run actually hedge funds and stuff that do very well. So it's not a linear across the board, but from what I've seen, because we've become so individualistic, it is funny to see how men and women really are going to the extremes of our biology. I mean, you're seeing that because everyone, again, we don't need each other as much. Women own their own real estate, men own their own real estate, or rent their own place. We're not combining as much as we used to, but the catch-22 to that is we don't have that reciprocal side to us, that yin and yang,
I think we're becoming super similar. I think men aren't men too much anymore.
Well, you're more rewarded for not. When, for me, I was in my 20s, I was just marching along with the mantra, we are the same, we blow each other's backs out, and we are the same. Fuck it. I mean, I could really believed it. I was like, fuck yeah, like, this is great for a guy. Fuck. I mean, we can just fuck each other the same. We don't need each other. And hang out with my boys, make money, have fun with them, sleep with women, just casually. It was great. I mean, it's funny, and I listen to older generations, and they were jealous. They're just like, man, like, you guys are fucking crazy, especially with Tinder and all the dating apps. They're like, man, like, swiping and a new partner and all, especially a lot of these guys married 20, 30, 40 years. They're like, oh man, I'd kill for that, and I'm like, at the time I was like, fuck yeah, you guys are all idiots. And now I'm like, it has its own set of problems. Like, you have the yin and yang aspect that a lot of our generation doesn't have anymore, because most people, not most, but a lot of people are single.
Well, I think a lot of people just don't want to put up with the whole dating shit anymore. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, that's 100% for sure.
I don't want to put up with it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
How does it feel being single?
Fucking amazing. It's going to be tough for me to go back to be with somebody. I'm not even kidding you.
Like me.
Well, it's because, like,
hey, at least you haven't had a taste of like 2 miles on it.
No. Well, I'm just out here. I don't have to answer anybody. I don't have to tell anybody, like, hey, I'm going to go do this. I have no arguments. I haven't had an argument in, how long have I been single now? 10 months?
Yeah, sounds about right.
About 10 months. Damn near.
9 or 10 months, so.
Just a little bit under 10 months. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's say 9 months. I've been full term single,
Mm-hmm.
and I have no arguments. I have no one to answer to. My friends hit me up. And they're like, "Hey, DeVanté, you want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come hang out with you guys." Or when I'm in a relationship, no, they hit me up. I'm like, "Yeah, let me see what my girl's got planned." Man, fuck all that. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I want to go, what I want, if I'm going to get with a girl, it's like, "Hey, I'm going to go hang out with, Zach and the boys. I don't know what time I'm going to be home, but I'm just going to be with them. So, just hit me up later if you need something or whatever." And I want to think, yeah. Go ahead. I trust you. Whatever. Cool. See you tomorrow, maybe. Fuck, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to come home tonight. I have no one to answer to. And I always said, I was like, the only person I should ever have answered to is my mother. And I don't live with her no more. And I live thousands of miles away. My mom doesn't know half the shit I'm doing out here. Mm-hmm. So I don't answer nobody. If I want to go do shit, I go do shit.
Typical millennial, yeah. No, you sound like the rest of us. We're all beating the same drum, man. It's.
But I mean, that's why. I mean, it's just because relationships have become. It seems so one-sided now, and this is just from my experience because I can't speak on anybody else's experience. But it's like, you say one thing, you share an opinion. If you're just joking around, even, and like the woman just goes off on you for no reason. I'm like, what? Whoa. I'm just kidding. Like, this is what I do. You knew I was a jokester before you got with me, and all of a sudden you're taking this shit seriously. It's like, I'm not dealing with that. Like, if you can't joke around with me and just have a good time. Like, I love talking shit. I talk shit with all of my friends. It's my love language. It's my number one love language. And if that's what I do, and then we get in a relationship, and then now all of a sudden it's become a problem. The fuck? No, not dealing with that shit.
No, I mean, I don't think you were meant to be with that person because I don't think that's.
Well, it's happened. It's not. It just wasn't that person.
It wasn't just one person. Yeah, I know, but still, I mean, there's women you can be yourself around. Again, I'm fucking insane. I know that. I don't know, but I do believe we probably need each other. I mean, I recognize that. I'm like, okay. A lot of people are lonely. I'm not saying you are. I mean, especially, you're still in your 20s, but when you start getting to my age, what?
So I'm definitely not lonely.
No, it's good. When you start getting to my age, for me, I'm very social. So I got a whole network of people. That's a lot of my job. So I don't necessarily, it doesn't wallop me like a lot of people. But man, if I was just working from home and single and in my 30s or 40s, like that would be tough. And I think a lot of people are experiencing that now. And that, so... And of course, I would argue the internet's made us more lonely than ever. Endless choice, endless everything. I feel it because then when I go in person, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be just blowing backs out. I just, you got to get to know someone. It jeopardizes your social circle. Like, there's so many ramifications to hooking up that the internet's taken away. That we're just like, oh, we can all fuck each other. Like, we're all the same. And of course, women really push for the equality, which is fine. But again, what I always tell them is, okay, well, you realize you're all chasing the same men. Men will fuck anything, and y'all chasing the same ones. And that's that's what I mean. It's like trying to get a guy to commit now that you actually like and admire and respect. Like, good luck. Y'all dictate the market. Open the legs. You're the gatekeepers to sex. Trust me, you just stop doing it. If all the women deleted their Instagrams and deleted OnlyFans and deleted dating apps, it would end overnight. All these men, they wouldn't have anywhere to go.
I think a lot of women would be lonely too, if that happened.
If they deleted it?
Yeah.
I think it's making women lonely because they have so much choice. They're getting men's attention. They're going on dates every night. They're getting fucked left and right if they choose to do that. But I would argue they're more lonely than ever.
I think women have a misunderstanding of what it's like for men on dating apps. I think women believe that we are literally just fucking all the time off of dating apps. And
it's a small percentage of men fucking.
Complete fucking opposite.
No, 90% of men are not fucking at all. About 10% of the men are fucking on dating apps.
It's crazy.
Because you're all sharing those same men. I mean, this is a public service announcement. Wake up. Oh, he's 6'5". He's got a sick V-taper and a big dick, and he's well-spoken and he's nice. He's fucking other women. Oh, you like him on Tinder? Oh, he doesn't always respond to you? He's fucking other women. That's what he's doing. I mean, that's the real... Again, I don't dictate the market. Y'all dictate the market. It's just, that's it. I mean, again, maybe guys are going to be pissed off for me saying this, but it's true. But I don't think it's going to stop. I don't think it's going to stop anything. We're way too hypergamous as a species. Y'all want the same things. Our brains are too old. 100,000-year-old brains. Yeah, like if women really, if we were all equal and things didn't matter, and obviously we live in a very convenient society now. Fuck the 5'6" guy that doesn't make a ton of money and lives in his mom's basement and plays video games. Fuck that guy. Oh, you don't want to fuck that guy. You want the 6'5" alpha Chad, hyper competitive, 6-pack. Okay. Yeah, so biology still rules all. Yep. Trust me.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want that guy, chances are about 100 other women want that same guy.
Thousands of other women want him. That's the problem. And then, of course, you turned into a globalized sexual marketplace. They have access to it. That's what's happening.
Fucking. I did an experiment. I told you about this. I re-downloaded Tinder.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I wanted to, because my Bumble, like...
Well, try to get some of those girls on. I can't download it.
So I have Bumble, and I have 5 likes on there.
Okay.
I'm not active, but I have 5 likes on there. I was like, interesting. So I downloaded Tinder. Mm-hmm. I was like, how many likes can I get in a day? How many likes am I going to get in a day? I got 19 likes in one day. In comparison to a woman, that's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
But most guys don't get 19 likes.
No, that would be you're a good looking guy. I've seen your pictures. We already went over this. I looked at your Tinder. I'm like, that's a swipe right. You're that 4 to 10% that get the right swipe. And again, that's the self-awareness for women is like, oh, wow, like, DeVanté, like, he's a good looking guy. Swipe right. Oh, the girl next to you that has Tinder, swiping right on him too. Or maybe like 2 girls down swiping right on him. Then there's like an even better looking guy that's like, oh my God, look at this fucking guy. And then he's getting even more right swipes. I remember I listened to this podcast, and then I think it was just with Jordan Peterson. He was talking to this guy about dating apps and exactly kind of what we're talking about right now. And the guy he was interviewing, or maybe the guy, he had a Jordan Peterson on his podcast, and he was talking about how he had a friend, like an incredibly good looking guy that got like insane amounts of likes on Tinder, and Tinder literally like gave him perks and shit, and like gave him like super likes and like lifted his radius restriction.
Oh damn!
Just to like drive, I'm assuming, girls using it. He was so good looking, like girls would just be constantly swiping on this guy or whatever. So they wanted to drive more girls to use the app. So they wanted to show him in front of more women, because I think it's like 100 men to every 1 girl on a dating app on average. Depending on the app. I'm sure Tinder is probably something like that. And I thought that was fascinating. So if they can get more women on, that means more men come on. If it's 100 to 1, you get 100 women on. It's 10,000 men you get on. That's impressive. I mean that, but again, that's so. Then you got 10,000, and who's the most likely to pay? The men. So you got 10,000 men paying $30 a month. You do the math. That's why these companies are worth billions of dollars now. And it's a sick game. And I remember what Jordan Peterson said. A lot of people love hate him. One of the most popular podcasters, YouTubers now. He said this is one of the most pernicious social experiments ever conducted, and he's not wrong, because that's insane. I mean, to give this man like that much attention, and then of course just to drive women onto your platform, to drive more men onto the platform, like algorithms literally trapping people to try and get them on. Trust me, my brain's like, download Hinge. Why not download Tinder? Why not just fuck around?
Right.
I know I'm not like him, but I'm like, like high enough where like I get some likes and I could sleep with people, It's a powerful driver. Talked to a lot of married men that never had this technology. They're all like envious in a way. I think the grass is always greener type thing, where they're just like, whoa, like I remember that when I, take a girl's shirt off for the first time or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you could do it a million times. It's as exciting as the last, but to what end? So you wake up when you're 40, then you wake up when you're 50, you're still doing that shit. Then you die.
Then you have a problem.
Then you just don't care. You don't care about your life is the problem. you're pulling weight. And I tell these to a lot of the married men I know of, look, I mean, you're pulling weight, man. Like you think men like me, we're just living this awesome rock star lifestyle. And, in I guess some respects we are, but it's not sustainable. It's not going to create any long-term happiness for sure.
Not one fucking bit. Not one fucking bit. I think, yeah, most people are kind of like me right now, where the people who are like me as far as they want a family and such, I just don't think they're as driven to actually find somebody right now. Because I'm not going to deal with bullshit.
You're also not sleeping around,
I'm
which is
also not
admirable
sleeping around.
because, you've had opportunities, obviously.
Yes. Your boy is not sleeping around with anybody.
Smart, because, the more you do it, the harder it is to be monogamous for men and women. It's people always talk about, it's women that you can't sleep around. It's like, no, men too, trust me. It's really hard. If I ever get back in a relationship again, which I'm not opposed to anything, not cutting myself off from anything. I'm being very mindful of how I continue living my life. And again, I've got other priorities in my life right now anyways, but it's, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough for me because, I've blasted my brain off to the fucking moon. So you can only use your imagination, but it's pretty bad.
Which is fine. I'll keep using my imagination. Just my imagination.
That's good because it'll make it. They've shown it'll make your marriage. If you get married and have kids, you will have a more fulfilled marriage if both of you have lower partner counts. Both of you, but it's both. It's not just women. And a lot of guys, I know a lot of podcasts talk about it just being women, and it's just like, no, it's you too. Now again, maybe it's not psychologically damaging to a man. It's not like, oh my God, like I'm going to get pregnant from this girl. So like she has to check all these boxes and then I'm going to miss her so much. It's like, no, it's just you train your brain to need bigger and bigger hits of dopamine is the problem.
I want a woman who checks off 80% of the boxes.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're just sleeping with someone. Yeah, you're talking about being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Men, again, they can just fuck and just walk away. It doesn't matter if she checks no box, whatever,
Oh, yeah, you can, yeah.
It's not going to psychologically damage you by shooting a load with somebody else as a man. Nah, it's fucking vulgar, yeah, whatever. But it's true. They call it post-nut clarity for a reason. Come on. We've all used these terms before. We all know about them. They're all real.
Yeah. I'm just not going to settle. I think that's
No, you sound like a chick.
From my perspective. I grew up around most women, so
you're good.
There's some feminine tendencies there, I guess. But
I think that's important. That's good.
I think that most people who get in relationships and end up in divorce down the line, not all of them, I think they ended up settling. They were like, oh, well, I'm not going to get any better than this, so let me just go ahead and get with this person. And then they end up regretting it years down the line. They're like, fuck, I don't want to be around with this fucking person. Anybody out there who's getting married in like 4 months, good on you. But you got to understand, like, that's probably not going to last. You understand that you're in that severe honeymoon phase right now, and you still got a year and a couple months left until you're out of it. And then you're like, who the fuck did I even marry?
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely happens, but
it happens a fucking lot, dude.
But I think a lot of people, like, some people grow together, some people don't. I mean, if there are like two virgins coming together that are like, oh, like, I mean, like what they do arranged marriages in other countries still, like India, you wouldn't know any different. So it's like, oh, well, if that's the social norm and that's what you're supposed to do, then you're going to want to work it out a lot more versus someone like me who's like, well, I've had 2 mouths on the dick. So like, I don't know if I'll work out with just 1 mouth on the dick.
That sounds like a rapper name.
2 mouths on the dick.
2 mouths on the dick. On the beat.
If I could sing that, I can use it as my
rapper.
rapper.
You ain't gotta sing to be a rapper.
I can't. I got no musical talent. I know that, but no, it's true. I'm an enormous red flag. I'm a walking red flag. I know that, but along with a lot of other men.
2 mouths. That's your intro.
Once I practice a little more.
Yeah. I think we have. I think I can be a rapper. I think I'm gonna quit all my other jobs and become a rapper now.
There you go. Perfect.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do with my life.
I like it.
Build up my social media accounts. Become a fucking rapper. I think I'm gonna call myself the Midwest Best.
No,
that sounds like a motherfucking hotel.
And that's well, it does sound like a hotel. That name isn't taken already.
Somebody else can take it. Whatever.
Yeah, I feel like any more like looking up names or of anything, you just have to be careful of like, is someone else using this right now?
Also sounds like it would be a fucking Kanye and Kim Kardashian baby name. Midwest Best. Midwest Best West out here. No offense to you guys, if you will ever hear this, probably not. But if you do, no offense. The names are good. It's unique.
I think everyone's trying to come up with unique names now for kids. Isn't that like a thing?
Well, yeah, it's always been a thing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's like more now than ever. Look at Elon Musk. It's like A-E...
Well, that's Elon. Come on, think about it, though. That's Elon Musk. You're not going to have a fucking... Well, there are some fucking football players, man. There's one guy, his name was Kool-Aid.
That's not bad. I like that.
Kool-Aid, man. God damn it. It's like, why are we doing this? Are you thinking maybe endorsements later? I mean, he's a college football player and he's got endorsements now. I mean, he's Division I football player, but Jesus Christ, I'm gonna start naming my kid Pampers. That's what I'm gonna do. My kid's name's gonna be Pampers. We're getting free fucking diapers.
I've heard of that actually before. People just like change. I mean, just average people like changing their names just because they're like, I don't like that name, which is fine, I guess. I mean, again, people are being whoever they want to be, identifying as whatever. So why not change their name too?
Yeah, my kid's name is gonna be Table.
Table Branch?
Nope. He's not getting any other name. He's going to be a one-namer. Table.
It's like McLovin. It's like just one name?
McLovin. Yeah.
What are you, fucking stupid or
that's
something?
Honestly, and that's also one of the best comedies ever.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the best movies ever made.
Jesus Christ.
I love that.
You know how old I was when that movie came out? I think I was...
How old were you? I was in high school. So you
Dude.
were probably, what, elementary? Like end of elementary?
Yeah, I was... What year was that? 2008?
Like 7 or 8 or something now.
Oh, dude, I was probably in 2007. I would have been in 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, 2007. I would have been in 6th grade.
Yeah.
When I watched that fucking movie. What a fucking movie. And I had some serious problems when I was watching that movie.
What do you mean?
Oh, dude. I would release myself to that movie. There's a fucking
which
scene with that girl. She ends up throwing up. This is how big of a freak I was, dude. When she ends up throwing up on what's his name?
Oh,
but they show a little bit of it. I was like,
Jonah.
Wow. Yeah. And whenever Emma Stone came on, dude, I was not an okay person when I was young.
What do you think I was doing too? Only it was like, I can't even remember the name of the movies, but anytime there was like scantily clad women, I was doing the same shit.
Oh,
so
dude.
You're not that weird, all right?
Yeah, maybe not, but when I think back to it, I was like, Jesus, what was my problem? Why was I such...
I think about that
nasty
every day.
fuck?
I'm sitting here across the table from you just being like, what the fuck is my problem?
Dude.
So don't beat yourself up.
I'm not beating myself up.
Yeah.
I just know that I was a nasty fuck back then.
It's called being a man.
I was fucking 6th grade. I mean, even before then, I was a nasty fuck. It was just like...
Being a guy.
Wow.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. I don't beat myself up. I mean, I laugh about it, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, again, it's very normal. I think that's the thing is... The problem is that, for our generation, we just were never taught, like no one talked to us about it. So it was never normalized. Like, I think it's better if we teach people, okay, like this is a normal reaction. This is normal behavior. This is why you feel this. And they actually explain it. We know the science behind it now. Just like, oh, you're getting a high level of dopamine. You're trying to, this is the release as oxytocin on your brain, essentially. Like, it's fine. It's just, that's a powerful neurochemical. I mean, it really is. And again, we're getting bombarded with it with TikTok and Instagram and all that other shit too. And that it's more of the awareness of it. I even talk about it with my son. I'm like, look, I don't use my phone around him because he wants to use it. He wants to look stuff up. I'm like, no, like when you're with dad, no phones. We're very present. And I explained to him, like, look, these things are really addicting. Like, you have YouTube TV, you know, those reels. He watches like YouTube TV reels, and I'm like, see that's what like the adults are doing too. I bet your mom is on her phone, your brother's on his phone. It's like, that's addicting. Like, those are addicting devices, you know, that I never had when I was your age. And it's funny, he gets it. You know, it's really interesting to listen to him kind of take in what I have to say, which is kind of cool about having kids. You know,
well, I didn't have that shit. I mean, we had Instagram. I mean, social media really wasn't prevalent in your phone probably until about Instagram, Snapchat, because before then everybody had to get on their computer to get on MySpace and Facebook.
MySpace.
I mean, right? Everybody had to get on their computer, and sometimes you just wouldn't get on your computer like that. And then Instagram comes out, and then that was sophomore year of high school. So we got that shit later than what these fucking people are getting now. But we didn't have like the reels. We had Vine. I remember how big Vine was. I didn't have Vine, but I remember everybody else had Vine, and it was huge. You know, that's the OG TikTok right there. It was just a bunch of stupid shit. Nobody was doing anything on there that was worth watching. But it was so many dopamine releases coming to us that we just kept watching. And then it went under. And then fucking, 8 years? 8 years later, fucking TikTok comes out. And then here we are now. It's fucking massive. It's fucking massive. It's the number one social media.
It's a drug. It's no different than, it's not as powerful as cocaine or heroin, but very similar response.
It's getting up there. It's the new drug for sure.
Oh yeah, you look around anywhere you go, and I mean, it's weird to see. It's weird to see people not on their phones almost now. It's like if someone's not on their phone, you're like, oh, you're like driving and not looking at your phone. Like, that's weird.
Well, do you feel weird whenever, let's say you're at a restaurant and like you're waiting for food, and you're the one person who's not on their phone? Do you feel weird? Or if you're sitting down somewhere and you're waiting for something and you're not on your phone?
It's weird because I am very aware of it, of like, I walk around and I see people on their phones, again, with my job, hour after hour, not on a phone. But then I also know I use my phone. Like, it's funny you say that. I was like at the front desk after I talked to Abby a little bit, like went up front, was like, oh, I'm like, and then Jared was like sitting up there scrolling on his phone, looking at something. And I was like, oh, I got to look at my phone too. It's more of the awareness of like, I don't need to look at my phone. I think I said this to him, like, well, I don't need to look at my phone, but I'm going to look at it anyways. And I'm like, oh. And then I started talking out loud to him about what I was saying. I'm like, oh, here's an email. It was like, Redfin, a home for sale. I was like, that's something I don't need to look at. I'm working out right now. And then it was something about a car. I'm helping a client sell a car. And I was like, I don't need to answer that right now. I'm still going to look at it, and I'm going to type and respond. And he started laughing, and it was just funny. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to listen to music on my phone. I was like, thanks for listening to my TED Talk or something. I think I said something like that. And it's funny that it's like I'm just as addicted as everyone else. I didn't need to look at my phone. I could have just been like, oh, just talk to Abby for an hour, didn't look at my phone once. I could have just been like, put my phone down, don't not even listen to music, work out. I didn't need to look at shit. But I did.
Dude, I always feel weird, like whenever I'm waiting in line for something, or if I'm sitting at the coffee shop, I'm not on my phone. I'm literally people watching, and I'm like, man, I'm the odd man out here. Like, I'm the weirdo.
Notice that people are,
like, I'm the weirdo right now.
If you're not using your phone,
if I'm not using my phone, and I'm just like, being present, looking around, being aware of my surroundings, I feel like, Jesus Christ, I'm kind of weird right now. Like, I'm not part of the norm. And
you're very aware of other people using it.
Yeah.
Even though you yourself have a smartphone and use it, you are hyper aware to other people using it, which I think a lot of people are. I think you look around, you're like, I mean, not everybody, but people are just like, man, like a lot of people on the phone. You see people driving, they're fucking looking. You can rarely go through an intersection anymore and not see someone looking at their phone while they're driving. Honestly, at least one or two cars, someone's looking at their phone while driving. So,
I mean, people get so fucking anxious if they are waiting in line for something, or if they're just around, or they're around a group of people that they don't know, They'll get on their phone and they'll just start scrolling through random shit. They'll just be going through their apps, their gadgets. They're not even clicking or anything. And it's like, yo, it's okay if you're just like sitting there, relaxing, just looking around. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not weird. I promise you. I don't think you're weird. I think you're pretty normal. If you're fucking sitting around, if you want to start a conversation with me, start a fucking conversation. If not, we can sit there in silence. I'm cool. You're not gonna creep me out, buddy. The fuck are you gonna do to me to creep me out? Nothing. Stop getting on your phones and whenever you're around random people, just because you're kind of uncomfortable. Get yourself out of that comfort.
Good luck with that. As people are probably listening to this with their phones, but again, good luck. This is a different. I think music is fine because I love music. I think listening to music is fine. Music is good.
Right. When I was younger, I used to listen to the radio. Like I'd have my TV turned off and I just have the radio playing in my room.
Oh yeah, and like even like YouTube podcasts, like informational things. Even what I was quoting with this, watched a podcast about dating apps. For an hour and a half or it was something like that. It was really interesting. It was like, oh wow, everything I've talked about. I'm like, yep, they nailed it right on the head of what's happening. And had 2 million views. So it's not like people aren't receiving this information. It's like anything else, though, man. I don't know if people care. It's like, do people really care? It's easy to say, oh, I care because this is going to affect me or my children or my family. But do they care? I don't know.
No, I don't think most people care in this day and age anyway.
That's how civilizations collapse, unfortunately.
Well, YouTube also is the best social media out there. That's number one. It's over TikTok, it's over Instagram, it's over Snapchat, because there's so much information out there that you can.
Yeah, and they've shown that it can be a net positive, depending on how it's used.
It is. I think YouTube is one of the greatest inventions. I think, Google, Amazon, YouTube, I think those are the 3 greatest inventions.
Well, it's made the rate of change very quick, so you can look up information quickly. You can order things quickly, which is, it is good. It's not all bad. It's like, can you just step back and relax too, and not consume anything? I mean, what we're doing right now, we're talking, we're recording, but we're not really consuming any information. I feel very relaxed right now.
I'm always relaxed. Always.
Always, huh?
Almost always.
That's fair.
About good 90% of the time.
I wish I could say the same. I'm pretty anxious. I'm pretty wound tight motherfucker.
Really?
Oh yeah, I am. I think that definitely goes hand in hand with the sex for sure for me. I'm wound tight in all ways. It's made me very successful in a way, and also kind of an idiot in other ways. So especially when it comes to women and everything else, feeding into what's going on right now. So that's something I got to be mindful of, why I don't drink anymore, because then it amplifies it, unfortunately, for me, and it's just not worth it. And I can have fun. Like, I don't need alcohol. I can have fun without it. And again, if you're going to drink, go ahead and drink. But I think it's more the self-awareness for the individual. Where it's like, oh, I can do like a little bit of pot is totally cool with me. Doesn't make me anxious. Chills me the fuck out. Kind of nice. I don't do it all the time. Definitely not as much as I used to. And then no alcohol. But that's my solution. We all have to kind of start writing our own playbooks to create stability in our life, because, we don't read the Bible anymore. We don't go to church. Yet people do, but a lot of people in the West no longer follow religious practices. And, it's like, okay, that's fine, but you got to create stability some other way. And for me, it's like, oh, this is my solution. I'm very present. I don't drink. I a little bit of pot, whatever. Try to just chill on certain things. Also knowing it's like, I'm anxious. It's okay to be anxious, to be aware of that. But how do you mitigate that while being an individual and knowing like, okay, these are kind of my solutions to help me navigate things. Be able to step back, chill. But also, it's like, oh, it's a great strength when it comes to other things. I'm a go-getter for sure. And it's like, that's cool. I'm a hard worker. It's like, okay, that's fine. Use that strength to create, do things like this. And, but also be able to tone it back, And it's like, you don't need to work all the time. You don't need to constantly be worrying about things. You can just chill. So I think that's important.
I mean, when it comes down to it, life really isn't that bad. There's not a lot of things in life that are worth putting that much attention to, that much care towards, ultimately, where you're just stressed out and always anxious.
Yeah, even what were you saying?
I think there's a few things probably so, right? Family. But as long as you're with your family and you're spending that time with them and you care about it. Friends. Mm-hmm. There's the things in life that matter the most are making memories and experiences and having people that you care about around you and that care about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it all comes down to. All this other shit really means nothing. Because we all want friends. We all want people around us that care about us and that we care about. I mean, in shelter, okay? When it comes to that, anything else, it doesn't matter.
Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Yeah. That's, safety, obviously food, clean water, things like that. And then after that, obviously social connection. We've checked a lot of boxes of, human wants and needs, before most of our evolution. I mean, we've been scrounging around, man. We're barely living. Someone made it to my age. You're fucking old as shit, 33. Like, shit, the motherfucker ready for the grave.
Well, dude, people in the fucking Bible, the disciples, you think they're old fucking men. They're not.
Mm-mm.
They are not old men at all.
Mm-mm. Well, back in that day, they were old men.
Yeah, but they're depicted as being old here. And it's like, no, these motherfuckers didn't walk around with no gray beards. I can almost guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers probably had baby faces some of the times.
Yeah, a lot of people never made it to gray beard time.
Yeah.
But life was a lot more stressful, so I'm sure people were graying a lot earlier, probably, too.
Why do we think that the disciples that were with Jesus, this is how my brain works, sorry. The people that were with Jesus were like these super old people whenever we depict Jesus. And he's not an old guy at all. He was 33 whenever he was crucified. And the depiction of him is, young guy, beard, long hair. But then the people that he's leading, they depict as being these old. No, they're not old fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. I hate that. Why is that? Why would we think that he's the young man just because his age is shown, but the rest of them aren't? No. Let's do a better job depicting people in the Bible. Let's do a better job. It's a random thought, but that's my thought.
That's true. Yeah, people just did not live as long. So we're living a lot longer and with a lot of convenience. And that is 100% leading to the mental health issue, for sure.
100%. We don't know what to do with our fucking time.
Correct. A lot of time to think. And that's hard for a reptilian little brain to like, what do I do, So
what will I do? What'll I do? Yeah, no. I enjoy it. That's why I'm going out. I travel, spend time with my friends, do new experiences. I'm fucking going camping next week. The fuck? I'm going camping
Be
next
good
week.
for you.
You can come too if you want.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll bring my son. Who knows?
Yeah, do it. There's only 3 of us right now going.
Okay.
It'd be nice to get a group out there.
That's supposed to actually warm up. So
is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fucking put my own tent up. New experiences, right?
Yeah.
Went paddleboarding a couple weeks ago. That was new. Enjoyed that. Still not going to convince me on the hiking though. I'm not taking my black ass hiking.
Mountain biking?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Not against it. Not against that. Small trail. Start out, let's see what it's like. I do that. Helmet, pads, mattress around me. Yeah.
That's fair. Good. Well, that's good, man. I mean, overall, how would you rate your quality of life right now?
9.5.
Damn. You know how many people can say that? Not a lot. Not a lot of Americans. That's
they're
sure.
probably looking at it a different way.
That's true because it is your view. Mm-hmm. That is correct. But again, a lot of people would say that. I really mean that. Like, I don't think there's too many people on this planet that can say that now.
We just got to get down to the core of things. What matters? Mm-hmm. Maybe it took me a minute to understand that, but friendship. I love. For me, there's nothing more special than hanging out with my friends and laughing, and just talking shit to each other. There's nothing I'll put that over almost everything right now. I'll put it over everything right now just because I don't have a family and kids.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, that's like, friends hit me up, unless I'm actually got something to do. I'm probably going to hang out with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's so good for your health. It's so good for your health. And it's amazing. Zach and I talked about it. It's like one of the best things in the world. That makes it a 9.5. Everything else is fine. Everything's taken care of right now, so I'm not worried about anything.
It's good. It's awesome.
Yeah. Where are you at?
Oh, I haven't thought about that. You answered that so confidently. 9.5. I'd say like a 7, if I'm being honest. Like
Still
a 7.
above average.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very good at being present in my life. Just being like, man, I'm a fucking lunatic, and I've definitely blown my brains apart. I've definitely blasted off to the moon. I have a kid that was someone I don't even know. But I'm alive, and I got a job I love, and I got people in my life I care about, and again, I'm okay with it. I'm just okay with my life where it is, because you just have to be. I think that's the anxious side, is that that deducts the points of just like, man, I want to make that go away. I wish I could just be like a normal person and just be like, oh, like, get married and have the kids and just be normal, instead of being like fucking blasting off moon crazy ass motherfucker that I am.
Why is having kids and then having this family, getting married, why is that normal? Why is because I have a kid, and it's just like, man, that's, if I'm gonna do it, like, that's not how I should have done it. I'm good at being present, being like, I'm okay with my life as it is and where it's at. And I get there's issues, like, it's not like, oh yeah, all marriages are great, and having that, it's just like, oh, it's the story, the Disney, not Disney, well, kind of Disney, or the story tale of, fairy tale of love, true love, and happily ever after, and all this, and you just are like ignorantly bliss. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds nice on paper. I'll sit here and say that and just be like, oh, it would make your life less complicated if you're like truly just thought that way, or could be at peace with that, Mm-hmm. I think normal is whoever you are. I think me being who I am it's normal. To other people, it may not be. For me, it's normal. Mm-hmm. For you, who you are, it's normal. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's struggles in life regardless. Doesn't mean you're not. I think I've always hated the term like normal and weird.
It's because you're right. Me too. Trust me. I've fucking railed against everything. But I just feel like by railing against everything, now again, I'm 33. I'm going to be 33 tomorrow. It's like, oh, and again, I know I'm beating myself up right now. It's like, oh, look at all these mistakes. Like my arm, like, fuck, I wish I didn't fuck my shoulder up. Like, I could not have a fucked up shoulder, and then like a kid with someone I don't care about that it didn't even know existed. But you're right. I mean, that makes me.
I mean, that's what's happening on a grander scale right now, is that everybody is comparing themselves to other people, and
or thinking about the ideal, or what you're supposed to do.
And then they've created this idea of like, oh, that's normal because they're seeing all of it from other people. No, that's not fucking normal. Mm-hmm. No. Whoever you are in this moment, that's normal. Yeah. Because you are who you are.
That's being present.
Right now.
That is being present.
Yes, exactly. You are normal. Just because other people might look at you a certain way, whatever. You're normal. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you they're going through shit right now they're trying to hide. Maybe yours is just out in the open. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, oh my God, you're like weird or whatever. You're strange. No. You're normal. You're going through a human experience. Mm-hmm. They are too. They're just not on the open with it. They're normal. That's true. You're normal. Stop comparing yourself to other people's lives.
That's tough. I mean, or a societal norm. I don't compare myself to other people's life of just like, oh, or like I guess my parents, that'd be someone else's life of just like normal. And of course, I know they're all fucked up. Mm-hmm. No, they're not normal. Mm-hmm.
I think normal is being yourself, through and through.
I like that.
That's being yourself.
Because we're all very different. That's for sure. But again, be yourself, but also like, I mean, again, I do believe there's something to be said for taking responsibility in your life, creating stability in your life. Mm-hmm. Because again, if it's like, well, being myself says I should go kill people, like, maybe that's not like the best thing, or like kill myself. Like, well, that's normal. Yeah. Like, I don't want to exist anymore. So like, I mean, you can take it to the extremes. I get that. which isn't healthy. But I think we could all improve in our lives too. While we're doing this podcast, we can all use improvement. Like, oh, I know my area of my life, I could work on this. I know myself. I know I've done all these things, but I know there's this part of my area I could improve on so that I can have more stability and actually a higher quality of life, so that when I'm 43, I can look back and be like, like that was a cool decade of my life. And I can look at my 20s and be like, oh, that was cool. I wish I would have done some things a little differently. But again, I can't go back in time. I can learn from that. So the next 10 years of my life, it's like, oh, I want to actually do things this way now, knowing that these things have made me, and it's not all bad. It's not like I totally fucked my life up or something. So
create that new normal of being yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
I like it.
Yes. I just wish we'd stop comparing ourselves.
No.
Stop
Good luck.
buying into
this Instagram and all that
pop culture shit too. About, oh, you need a Gucci belt for $2,000. What the fuck? That better hold my pants up. That better make me levitate. My dick better be getting sucked by this fucking belt. Dude, I'm not paying $2,000 for a fucking belt just because I want people to know that I can spend this much money. Man, fuck that. I don't give a fuck what people think I can spend.
I like how
I could be a millionaire, dude. I'm driving this piece of shit Impala I got. I don't give a fuck. It's paid off.
There's a lot of times it makes sense to actually buy nice cars for. If you have most people that are millionaires have multiple businesses, you're doing your own shit at that point. So like a lot of times, actually, even though they are changing the tax laws, it can benefit you to buy like a G-Wagon or something like that. Ew. If you got that kind of money.
Ew.
Whatever the fuck you're into. I don't
Negro.
fucking know.
Ew.
Just saying, understanding the tax code is important too.
I'll buy a franchise before I buy a fucking G-Wagon.
But you need write-offs. Like when you got that kind of money, sometimes it doesn't matter. But it does. It is priorities in your life and where you find value.
What I'm saying is, people do shit for status.
Well, yeah,
that most people don't even give a fuck about. Let's be honest. So be normal, be yourself. You're gonna be okay.
Everything will be okay. Remember that, everyone.
Everything is always okay.
You're not alone. Everyone's fucked up. But guess what? That fucked up is you being normal.
That's you being normal.
Damn straight.
And this has been Less Tech, More Nick. And this is DeVanté.
And this is Eric. Till next week.
We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Less Tech, More Nick. Y'all hear what I say? Less Tech, More Nick. For your mother and your brother, we gon' hear from Eric and DeVanté. It's strange times and these are strange days, and it's strange people live in strange ways, so expect Less Tech, More Nick.